Welcome to Florida, where the weather is always perfect, everyone lives on the beach, housing costs are low, and there's no traffic problem at all. Wait, we know that is not true. Those are all lies. And there's other lies that are being told about Florida as well. And today, I'm going to address those lies. Let's get started right away, because the number one lie that I hear is like, no one can get insurance in Florida. And that is simply not true. Actually, in 2025, none of my clients have had any issue getting homeowners insurance. However, there is probably some challenges with homeowners insurance and some things that you should know. For instance, there's 4 key areas of your home that are crucially important when you're looking at your home or any home to purchase. First of all, that is going to be the age of your roof, because an insurance company wants to insure a home that has at least 5 years of life left in the roof. So many times we have to have inspectors verify that. And if you have a home that has composition shingles, typically they are going to last approximately 18, 19 years before that roof is going to need to be replaced, and sometimes sooner. And with a tile roof, well, after about 25, 30 years, those roofs are no longer viable for insurance. That is true here. The age of our roofing is extremely important. Another issue when it comes to insurance is the age of our hot water heater. Now, a typical hot water heater is going to last about 10 years. And clients always ask me, like, why is this so important? Why do insurance companies not want to write on an older water heater? It's simply because an older water heater, if it starts leaking, is going to cause a lot of water damage. The next area, of course, are doors and windows. We all know the importance of strong doors and windows here in Florida with those hurricane force winds. And then the final thing is the age of your electrical panel. Typically after about 40 years, insurance company would require you to update your electrical panel. And this is an understandable safety concern when it comes to electrical problems in a house. So as you can see, there are things that you have to do to make sure your home is insurable. And there are ways to lower your insurance cost. Actually, I just sold a home that put on a brand new roof and their insurance dropped 50% because of the new roof. So there's lots of ways to mitigate the cost of insurance, and you can still get it. Now let's wrap this up talking about flood insurance, because if you're in any flood zone except for X in the state of Florida and you have a mortgage, you will be required to have flood insurance. Now, the cost of that flood insurance is going to depend on your location, your flood zone, your elevation, the age of all of those components of your home. So it's out there, it's possible, but don't fear or believe all the lies you're hearing about insurance. The next lie that we hear a lot about in Florida is that you're gonna save thousands and thousands of dollars because we have no state income tax. And although that is true, we have no state income tax and we can save thousands of dollars, let me tell you, there's other costs in Florida that kind of make up for the difference, and you're not always saving thousands and thousands of dollars. First of all, we have a gas tax that is 38 to 39 cents. We have sales tax that averages about 7% here in the state of Florida. There is an insurance premium tax that is baked into all of our insurance costs. There is a dock stamp and intangible tax on deeds, mortgages, and intangible assets used in financial transactions. There's a 2.5% tax on utilities. So there's been a lot written in the press lately that Governor DeSantis wants to eliminate our property taxes. And although as a homeowner, that sounds fantastic, right? But I doubt very much that we are actually going to see that, because that would cost the state $50 billion in income, which would have to be made up somewhere else. What I'm hearing is like they'd be raising sales tax to 10, 12%, which is absolutely crazy. They would be raising the cost of everything else here in Florida to make up for that $50 billion. So as much as we would love to think that we wouldn't have property tax, I don't see that happening. Also here in Florida, property tax is approximately 1% of your assessed value on that home you own if you are homesteaded. So we're not even the highest state when it comes to property taxes. So I don't see that changing anytime soon. Before we go on to the next lies, if we haven't met yet, I'm Lisa McBride with Sarasota Neighborhood Experts, and my team and I love helping so many of you buy, sell, and invest in real estate. So give me a call today and let me know how I can help. The next lie I want to talk about is that everyone in Florida is just old. And as someone that's getting older, I take offense to that. Here in Florida, we have the second highest number of residents that are over the age of 65, with the state of Maine actually having a few more. 21% of our residents are considered seniors. So yes, it's higher than a lot of states. And yes, we do have some communities like the Villages that are built specifically for those residents over the age of 55. But 79% of our population is under the age of 65. And we have residents of all ages. We have lots of children, we have a lot of singles, we have professionals, we have all walks of life in Florida. So it's not just for those that are getting older. And aside from the Villages, there are a few communities that cater to those that are a little bit older, such as Punta Gorda, Palm Coast, Boca, Naples, and Venice, Florida. But our major cities like Orlando, Jacksonville, well, they are filled with youth, and we have beautiful and amazing college campuses. So there's young and old throughout the state of Florida. The next myth is that we are hit by a hurricane every year, and that's just not true. Actually, in the state of Florida, yes, we have a 45% chance that a hurricane could make landfall every year. But Florida, when you include the tributaries, the bays, the inlets, the estuaries, has over 8,400 miles of shoreline. So when, where, and to what extent a hurricane may hit, we never know. Hurricanes are an act of nature, and as we've seen, an act of nature can happen anywhere, but you are not going to be hit every year with a hurricane. The Atlantic coast, for instance, has not seen a direct hit in quite some time. In the last decade, we've seen more and more hurricanes in the Gulf of Mexico and hitting along the Gulf Coast, but also into the Panhandle, into Alabama, Texas, Mississippi. So a hurricane can hit anywhere, not just in Florida. And it's not something that you should expect every single year. So the next myth that I want to debunk here, or the next lie, is that all we have are brand new homes or these cylinder block homes that all look alike, and that it's just kind of concrete jungle, for a better word. And that is simply not true. There are so many beautiful neighborhoods here in Florida, in every city, that are 100 years old or more, that have towering oak trees, cottages, bungalows, Tudor homes. There are so many neighborhoods throughout the state that are charming and have stood the test of time. Yes, we do have a lot of new construction in Florida, and we have a lot of production builders building and developing Florida. But there are so many other options. So if you're thinking, oh, Florida, everything looks exactly the same, everything is mass produced, simply not the case. The next lie I hear all the time is the weather is perfect all winter long and oppressively hot all summer long. Now, Florida is a very large state, so the average temperatures from the Panhandle to the Keys can vary greatly. For instance, in the winter months, the average temperature in the Panhandle is between 40 and 65 degrees. And for a lot of residents and snowbirds and those trying to escape cold weather, that's just not warm enough. But if you go to Miami or to the Keys or Naples, the average winter temperatures are between 70 and 85 degrees. So that's a huge difference. So about those blistering hot summers, well, yes, it is hot in Florida, but most of the summer, it's warm everywhere in the United States. What really makes Florida heat a little different is that it's going to start a little sooner. May always gets warm, and then it lasts through September or October. So it's the length of time that we're warm, and I always think September is the hardest month to get through because we've been hot since May, and the rest of the nation is starting to cool off and getting beautiful fall weather, and we're still very, very warm. And also in September, we do have more risk, obviously, of hurricanes. So September is probably, in my opinion, the worst month in Florida. But our temperatures here in Florida range greatly from the tip of the Keys to the Panhandle. So if you don't like it too hot, think about moving just a little further north to Jacksonville or Gainesville, as the weather is going to be completely different in these areas. This last lie that I want to talk about is really a big lie, and I want to address it because there has been a lot written and videos made about Florida, everyone leaving Florida, and everyone hates Florida, and Florida is becoming a ghost town and everyone wants to live there. Well, that is a lie. First of all, yes, our population growth has slowed since 2021 to 2023, but in 2024, we had a net increase of 475,000 residents. So we're still growing. And the comment that everyone hates living in Florida, well, simply not true. I have so many clients that tell me how much they absolutely love living in Florida. They feel like they're away at camp, or they love the year-round activities. They love the sunshine and so many different options to get involved and keep active, no matter what your age range is. Also recently, there was a video posted that said that builders are abandoning new construction sites, specifically here in Lakewood Ranch. And that is simply not true.
Site in Florida, and there's literally no one here. This place is a ghost town.
That video was shot on a Sunday morning when there weren't people out working. But I can guarantee you, if you drive through any new construction neighborhood at any day of the week, aside from Sunday, you are going to see so much activity from contractors, roofers, pool installers, and all these homes are occupied with people living in them. So there's not neighborhoods standing completely vacant. There are not builders that are going under. No, we are still thriving, growing, and people still flock to Florida. So the lies about everyone leaving and hating Florida, well, simply not true. I do understand there are people that leave for a lot of reasons, but that's true everywhere you live. So there you have it, 7 of the biggest lies that I hear all the time about Florida. If we can be of any help, just reach out, give me a call today. Let me know how I can answer any of your questions and help you find the perfect home in Florida. As always, thank you so much for watching, and always remember to work with a local expert.